Do you remember when America's main streets were bustling and store shelves were always full? That promise of abundance is fading fast. Today the cost of living is soaring, and even if you have money, essentials can be out of reach as stores vanish. Major retailers are closing across the country, leaving communities cut off from basic necessities. This isn't just about empty buildings, it's about losing the heart of our neighborhoods. In this video we'll explore 10 states on the front lines of this crisis, and what it means for all of us. Let's take a closer look. We begin in New York, a state that once stood as a beacon of retail vibrancy, stretching from the iconic avenues of Manhattan to the bustling shopping districts of Buffalo. For decades, these streets were alive with the energy of shoppers, small businesses, and big-name stores alike, forming the backbone of local communities and the state's economy. But today, a relentless wave of closures is sweeping across the Empire State, shuttering essential stores like Rite Aid, CVS, and Family Dollar. These aren't just any businesses, they're lifelines for countless residents, providing everything from prescriptions to daily necessities. In New York City and far beyond its skyscrapers, small towns and rural communities are feeling the impact. Many neighborhoods are losing their only sources for groceries, medicine, and basic supplies, leaving residents with few alternatives and forcing some to travel miles for essentials. Each shuttered store doesn't just mean another empty building, it means lost jobs, fewer opportunities, and a weakened local economy. For workers, it's the end of a livelihood. For towns, it's a blow to their sense of stability and hope for the future. Even in some of the state's wealthiest neighborhoods, the challenges are mounting. High operating costs, the unstoppable rise of e-commerce, and a surge in retail crime are forcing even established stores to close their doors, leaving once thriving streets eerily quiet. If New York, a state known for its economic power and cultural influence, can't sustain its retail sector, what does that mean for the rest of the country? The ripple effects could be felt far beyond state lines, signaling deeper issues in the national retail landscape. The growing number of empty storefronts is a stark warning. No community, no matter how prosperous or remote, is immune to these changes. The fabric of main streets is unraveling, and the consequences are visible everywhere. The loss isn't just economic, it's deeply personal. Families are left without nearby options for daily needs, and neighborhoods lose the gathering places that once brought people together, eroding the sense of community. Imagine what it would mean if your neighborhood's last pharmacy closed for good. For the elderly, the sick, and those without transportation, the impact is immediate and profound, threatening both health and independence. The Empire State's struggle is more than a local crisis. It's a glimpse into a possible future for communities everywhere. As we watch New York's retail landscape transform, we're left to wonder, could this be what's next for us all? California, long the land of opportunity, has always been a symbol of prosperity and innovation. From the bustling cities to the quiet suburbs, the state has drawn dreamers and doers for generations, promising a better life and endless possibilities. But now, California faces a retail crisis that threatens the very fabric of its communities. Once thriving shopping districts are now lined with empty storefronts, and the familiar hum of commerce is fading. Store closures are creating retail deserts, even in suburban Los Angeles, the Bay Area, and the Central Valley. These are places where access to basic goods and services is no longer guaranteed, and entire neighborhoods are left without nearby options for shopping. Families must now drive farther for basics like groceries, medicine, and household supplies. For many, especially those without reliable transportation or with limited mobility, that's a real hardship that adds stress and expense to daily life. High operating costs, strict regulations, and a surge in organized theft are driving retailers out. Small businesses struggle to survive, while larger chains weigh the risks and often decide to close their doors for good. Chains like Walgreens and Target cite safety concerns and mounting financial losses as reasons for leaving. Their departures leave gaping holes in the communities they once served. The promise of convenience is eroding, replaced by scarcity and uncertainty. Residents who once took easy access to goods for granted now face empty shelves and long drives to find what they need. California's story is a warning. Abundance can vanish quickly, and the loss of retail infrastructure can reshape entire communities almost overnight. For countless families, the challenge of accessing essentials is now a daily reality, impacting their health, well-being, and sense of security. What happens when the basic infrastructure of daily life disappears? The answer is unfolding across California as communities grapple with the consequences and search for solutions to restore what's been lost. In Illinois, especially Chicago, retail closures are hollowing out communities. Major chains like Walmart and Whole Foods have left deepening food and health deserts. The loss of these stores devastates local economies and small businesses that relied on their foot traffic. Property values drop, and neighborhoods feel abandoned. Retailers blame online shopping, high taxes, and crime for their exit. Vulnerable communities suffer most, losing jobs and access to essentials. The domino effect is clear. When anchor stores leave, the heart of a neighborhood fades. What responsibility do corporations have to the places they leave behind? Texas, known for its booming growth, is seeing a surprising retail contraction. Even as cities expand, established retailers are quietly closing stores. In rural areas, the loss of a single Walmart or Dollar General can be catastrophic. Rapid e-commerce growth and uneven economic gains leave some communities behind. Retailers chase profits and new developments, abandoning older suburbs and small towns. Population growth doesn't guarantee retail stability for everyone. The forces reshaping retail are creating scarcity amid abundance. Who gets left behind when the promise of growth skips over their community? Texas's story is a lesson in the limits of economic boom. Pennsylvania's iconic department stores and pharmacies are vanishing. Empty buildings cast a shadow over cities and small towns alike. The loss of stores like Macy's and Rite Aid hits seniors and families hardest, making essentials harder to access. Pharmacy closures mean longer travel for prescriptions and fewer healthcare resources. For many, this is more than inconvenience. It's a barrier to health and well-being. Corporate consolidation and online competition are accelerating the decline. In a state with an aging population, the consequences are especially severe. What happens when the keystones of community commerce disappear? Ohio, once a model of affordable living, is losing its big-box stores. Closures of Kmart, Sears, and Walmart hit working families hard, raising costs and reducing options. When the only discount store closes, residents face higher prices and longer drives. For those living paycheck to paycheck, this can mean tough choices between food and bills. Corporate decisions to close underperforming stores have real consequences for communities. The disconnect between corporate strategy and local needs is growing. Affordability is becoming a luxury, not a guarantee. What's the true cost when the places that offered low prices disappear? Michigan's recovery, especially in Detroit, is threatened by new retail closures. Stores like Meijer and Walgreens once symbolized hope and jobs. Now, their departure reopens old wounds. Job losses and reduced access to essentials put pressure on families and local economies. Other cities like Flint and Grand Rapids face the same trend, big box stores and pharmacies vanishing. This undermines efforts to revitalize struggling communities. Dependence on national chains leaves cities vulnerable to distant corporate decisions. Michigan's story is a reminder: recovery is fragile, and progress can be reversed overnight. How can communities build resilience when their economic future is so uncertain? Florida's promise of affordability is fading as costs soar, leaving many residents feeling the pressure. Once known as a haven for retirees and families seeking a better life, the Sunshine State now faces a new reality. Housing prices have skyrocketed, insurance premiums are climbing, and everyday expenses are outpacing wages. For many, the dream of living comfortably in Florida is slipping further out of reach. As stores close, entire communities are left with fewer resources. Retirees on fixed incomes and working families alike are squeezed by rising expenses, struggling to keep up with the cost of groceries, utilities, and healthcare. The stress is visible on the faces of parents and seniors alike as they try to stretch every dollar. With fewer shopping options, residents are forced to travel farther for basic necessities. The closure of local stores like Publix and Walmart adds stress and limits access to essentials, especially for those without reliable transportation. Inland and less affluent areas are hit hardest, with retail deserts emerging just miles from luxury developments. While some neighborhoods thrive, others are left behind, creating a stark divide. The state's booming economy masks deep struggles for many residents. Inflation and retail contraction are eroding the quality of life that drew people to Florida in the first place. the dream of an affordable paradise is slipping away for many. As the gap widens, the question remains, can Florida's communities adapt and find solutions before the squeeze becomes a full-blown crisis? Georgia's economic boom hides a shrinking retail presence. Major chains are closing stores in older suburbs and lower-income neighborhoods, leaving residents feeling abandoned. Each closure means lost jobs, less local spending, and reduced tax revenue. Smaller cities and rural towns are especially vulnerable when their main retailer leaves. The result is a patchwork of prosperity and scarcity, determined by zip code. Uneven growth is creating new divides across the state. The strategic decisions of national chains are reshaping Georgia's communities. The Peach State's bruise is a warning about the fragility of local economies. Washington, especially Seattle, is facing an affordability crisis worsened by retail closures. High rents and operating costs are driving out both local and national retailers. Even well-off families feel the strain as essentials become harder to access. Lower-income neighborhoods are left with retail deserts, deepening social and health inequalities. The dream of a progressive, equitable city is fading as access depends on where you live. A booming tech economy hasn't protected essential services for all. Prosperity at the top doesn't guarantee stability for everyone. What is the purpose of growth if it pushes out the people and services that make a city livable? Across these 10 states, empty storefronts and retail deserts reveal a profound shift in American life. These changes have real impacts: seniors losing pharmacies, families traveling farther for groceries, workers facing layoffs. But we're not powerless. Staying informed and supporting local businesses can make a difference. We must plan for resilience and push leaders to protect access to essentials. This conversation affects us all. Have you seen stores close in your neighborhood? Share your story in the comments. Let's keep the dialogue going.